Good morning. This is
Good
Beth.
morning.
How can I help you today? Ah, yeah, take a deep breath right through the heart. Ah. I feel a sadness in you today.
I feel it too.
Did you just
When,
notice it when you called, or were you aware of it before?
no, I just noticed it when you asked me, how can I help you?
Yeah. Ooh. Just keep breathing through that heart. Why do you believe that no one wants to help you?
Wow.
Can you feel that?
Yes. Well, the first thought is that my parents did not seem to want to help me.
One of your parents in particular seemed that way to you.
Hmm. My father?
No,
I was going to say both of them. I mean, my father was gone, so he didn't help.
he may not have helped you,
That yeah.
but the
Okay. My mother.
feeling, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can totally get that.
I just had an image of um, there's some kind of game that people have mentioned to me called whack-a-mole or something, and whack-a-mole. And it's like something comes up, it starts springing up, and then you whack it down. And it feels like you felt that your mother was trying to whack you down, which is rather the opposite of helping. I want you to focus on that feeling. And now I want you to tell me, when was the first time you ever felt that your mother was deliberately trying to whack you down? I'm not saying consciously, but deliberately, with intention.
Was it, well, and maybe it's completely wrong, but second grade when I sprained my ankle?
It was in second grade, but it wasn't about spraining your ankle. It had to do with something that you did, like you were drawing or something. I get a sense of it being art related in some way, whatever child way that would have been. Coloring book, something.
Hmm. Well, she was very strongly against coloring books.
Oh,
You had to, you know, make your own art. You didn't color in somebody else's lines
ah, okay. Whew, take a breath. That's it. And why did you want to use a coloring book?
because I didn't want to compete with her.
No,
I didn't trust that I could draw.
that's right. You wanted to do something pretty. Whew. You wanted to do something nice that you would be proud of. And when you would sit there, was this crayons, honey, or was that
Yes.
okay? So you're sitting there with the crayons, and when you had to create something out of your own imagination, you would get anxious and nervous, and you felt like you couldn't draw. And so it would just look like, so I'm having an image of a piece of paper with a lot of, scribble on it. And But if you had a coloring book, you felt like that was going to support you to do something pretty, and that where it wasn't going to be demanding something of you that you felt you didn't have, at least not yet. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
And so she took away, it's like putting somebody on a bicycle instead of a tricycle when they're young. That was the way you experienced it. Now, why you felt so insecure about it, we're going to go into that in a minute. But that's the first level of this, is that you needed those training wheels that the coloring book gave you in order to produce something that you felt proud of. Now, let's take this a step further. I want you to go into your heart and go back in time earlier. And now you have a piece of paper. I would say now you're about 3. And you have some crayons. And first I see you like at a little desk or something, or a table, but now I'm seeing you on the floor. And you're just doing something, you're looking at something, and you're just doing it from your imagination, looking at it. And what is it that you're trying to create? What are you looking at?
My sister?
Yes, you're looking at your sister. Are you trying to do a drawing of her?
Yes.
And so I want you to tell me what colors you're using.
Red and yellow.
Yes, yes, it's exactly what I'm seeing. And what are you capturing about your sister with that red and yellow?
Her vibrancy.
Yes, yes. And then what do you do with this picture when you're done?
I show it to my mother.
Yes. And how are you feeling at the moment before, when you're running towards her to show her?
Excited.
Yeah. And there's a particular nature to that excitement. What do you think she's going to feel?
Proud.
Yeah. And how do you feel when you first notice her reaction?
I feel, I'm just laughing because I feel put down.
How is your mother reacting?
Um, Dismissive.
It's not exactly that. She's making some kind of an effort to pretend that she thinks it's good. She's let me see if I can get deeper into this and help you to understand what your mother is feeling. She wants you to be extraordinarily talented. Extraordinarily talented. So she wants you to be like Mozart at 5. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what she sees is the scribblings of a 3-year-old. And so, what does she feel?
Disappointed.
Yes. Yes. Now, can you feel that?
Yes.
So now she's trying to be nice about it, saying, "Oh, that's lovely. Very nice." And what is that supposed to be? That kind of thing, right?
She would not say what is that supposed to be because
No,
she's
right. Too
she,
representational.
yeah.
But why am I saying that?
Well, if she wants me to be a genius, then she would expect that it is representational of something.
That is absolutely right. Now, here's a very interesting contradiction. You just told me that she didn't want it to be representational. Is that because that's her art form, or is that she
Yeah.
would? Okay. But she actually does want it to be representational of something. Um, Now, let's see if we can get into that. This is really good. I feel like we're getting to something very deep here. Why doesn't your mother want to do representational art herself?
Well, she does do representational art. She's primarily was primarily a landscape artist, and it was very representational.
So then why would she not have wanted you to do representational art?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that she didn't. I just that was a big thing that she always said was don't ask someone what it is because that isn't important.
Okay. But now I'm going to tell you something. So I don't want to run out of time. Your mother did representational art, but she didn't think it was very good. And then she focused on non representational art and tried to make it look like a virtue. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying, but she only did abstract art in the very early years, in the last, you know, 55 years of her life, it was all representational. Well, not all of it, but 95%.
So when she did non-representational art, it was because she was insecure. And what did she do with the insecurity around her representational art? This is, what I haven't picked this up exactly right yet, but we are definitely on it.
What did she do with her
Yes, yeah,
fear?
yes, or her judgment about her representational art. She justified it. It's, how can I put this? Just like she did with, if she says, don't ever ask anybody what it is because it's how it feels or whatever it is, whatever the words that she was using, this is the energy, Helen, behind it. It is, I wish I could paint like, Rembrandt, uh, with details that made it alive and perfect. But when I do my landscaping, it's vague. It's not right. It's not precise. It's not perfect.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Go for it.
She she loved the expressionistic period, um, which was purposely, Van Gogh, Monet,
Yes.
Cezanne. She didn't aspire, I don't believe, at any time in her life did she aspire to realism. You know,
Okay.
she,
This is what she's saying. Now you're explaining to me because I was using the wrong words. Your mother at a very early age had the experience of being criticized for not doing it right herself. And she picked that up and carried it. And she was afraid to try to represent something, because it wouldn't be right. She didn't think she was good enough. And so she was always looking for some excuse to not have to challenge herself to see how accurate she was. Not that it's not my judgment. I'm not having a judgment that, the Impressionists are wrong or bad or not good. What I'm saying is that she was always finding excuses for what she considered to be her deficiencies as an artist. And she always tried to make that look like a virtue. Now, this is your mother's relationship with reality. She could not look at reality as it was. She had to make it look like she was deliberately wanting it to be different.
I, I,
So
s-
if
I
do you
see.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. It took me a little while because I think I didn't get the right words, right? But you understand the feeling now. This is it. And so she would pretend that she liked free love, for example, if she had a failed marriage. Or she
Yes,
would pretend that the way she was raising her children was more supportive than the typical way if she wasn't raising her children in a way where they were functional or happy or content. Or this is your mother always rationalizing and pretending that what she was doing was better. And when she saw you with that art, all those feelings of judgment about herself came up. And she tried to pretend that she really liked your free expression, but she wanted it to look like a rabbit or something. Do you
yes,
understand?
yes.
Now, we are way out of time, and so I can't go further with you about this today, but I want you to take this into your counseling, your peer session, whatever, or just your own meditation. How did your mother's effort to rationalize her weaknesses and make them look like virtues while actually internally still feeling critical and being critical of you for your not being able to live up to the normal standards? How did that impact you? I need to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. This recording is a follow-up to the 15 minutes with Beth that I just did on February 21st, 2015. The ending question of my consultation with Beth was, what is the effect on me of my mother's pattern of covering up her deficiencies by pretending that those deficiencies are virtues? Several things came to my mind, three main things. One was how it affected me as a child. I did notice that my mother needed to prove how smart she was, how talented she was, how right she was about everything. And that when challenged, she became defensive and she tended to have the energy of putting me down, even though I don't know that that was her intention. I felt like whenever I needed help, that it was somehow a negative thing to my mother. I think it challenged her cover up and made her feel deficient or defective if I needed help, because that meant I wasn't perfect and that didn't puff her up. So I learned not to ask for help. And when I was 10 years old, she tried to kill herself. And that really sealed the fate of this pattern of my not asking for help, because I was afraid that if I did, I was making her face her deficiencies, and that might put her over the edge and she might kill herself. And I would lose my mother. The second piece of it is, how this led to my own behavior of feeling like I had to cover up things that I wasn't doing right, or my fear that I wasn't doing things right. I had to cover them up because I couldn't ask for help. And this has led me to a pattern of not asking for help when I really need it and not wanting to admit that I need it. And when challenged, when someone says, you did this wrong or you did that wrong, I am defensive and want to, make reasons or excuses why I did it that way. And I feel very humiliated and afraid when I'm discovered to be doing something wrong. And the third thing that I noticed was that I could see how this plays out in my marriage, in that my husband reacts as if he were deficient or had done something wrong whenever I ask for help or point out that something is amiss in our relationship, or I ask for help for myself. He interprets that as exposing some deficiency of his, and he gets very defensive, which is very upsetting for me because it's the same pattern. I've chosen someone like my mother who then in turn makes me not want to ask for help. And I've been challenging myself to confront this even before this consultation. So, and my husband has gotten way more open too. So we've been really working on this even before this consultation, but I know this is going to help tremendously in my private life. I can see how it affects my work life and not asking for help when I need it, and covering up when I know I'm doing something wrong or afraid I'm doing something wrong. So I really appreciate this consultation, and I look forward to the rewards that I will continue to gain from using the information I've gotten today. And I look forward to future 15 minutes. Thank you.